Welcome back, Monsterites, monster lovers, and especially you monster creators out there. Welcome to this year's details on the Halloween Monster Art Contest. And believe it or not, this is the 10th one, the 10th year in a row that we've done it. Albeit the first one wasn't officially of the channel viewers, but rather the students I was teaching at that time, but it was showcased on the channel. But every year after that, we've been doing monster contests with you guys and rewarding you with cash prizes. This year will be no different, but considering what's going on in the world and AI and such, it's possible it may be the final one for now, or not. I'm not sure yet, but I'm just putting that out there because it will be getting harder and harder to confirm artwork out there that it is indeed human-created artwork and not AI-generated. But nonetheless, it's still exciting to announce the 10th Halloween Monster Art Contest, and I'll get back to that at the end of the video, talking about how I'm sort of going to be celebrating that on the channel. And it was not intentional, but it is what it is, and currently for my lifestyle, it actually works rather well and is rather convenient. But I do miss the old mane, and I'll probably slowly get it back. At least, most of it. That is unless Nurgle sends some diseased curse on me, which doesn't allow me to regrow everywhere where I would like it to, but we shall see. So for this year's theme, if it possibly is the last contest we'll run, really not sure yet, but it is the 10th one in a row. Let's do it with a bang, if not go out with a bang. And so the theme for this year's Halloween Monster Art Contest will be Giant Monster Battle. So you will be rendering in any way you see fit, color, no color, whatever other media. Usually people just go with two-dimensional drawing, painting, digital painting, whatever sort of two-dimensional media. And so for the details on this year's theme, it is to be a giant monster battle. So two main giant monsters, one monster having the ability to create smaller monsters, and the other being the owner of our logo, our Cyclops skull. So whatever creature that skull came from, that's the other giant monster that will be battling the other one that creates the smaller ones. And that's that for theme. So remember that because it's going to be among one of the categories for scoring. Next up, let's talk about the schedule. It's going to be as always. I'm announcing this today, which is October 1st, and your submissions will be due October 31st, Halloween night, the end of October. Usually it's okay if you turn it in November 1st, even 2nd, and if you need a day or 2 or 3 or whatever, if you are working on it, you just need those extra few hours or whatever, just message me. There's never been an issue with that. People just let me know that if it's okay if they can turn it in the next day, and we can wait up to do the final results for when your submission arrives. There's no problem with that. You just gotta let me know, because otherwise the scoring is gonna take place and the results will go out and it won't count anymore. So just let me know if you got something in the works. But nonetheless, the due date is the 31st of October. If it's 1 or 2 days late, it's all right. I'll probably wait at least 2 days after October 31st, as I usually do, before really starting the scoring process. That is, if nobody contacts me about needing an extension. This year's scoring criteria will be a bit different. I think almost every year there's been adjustments and fine-tuning, and I'm pretty happy with this year's scoring. The total allowable points, or the total max amount of points you can score from one judge, will be 30 points. And there will be 7 criteria this year. The first criteria will be worth 5 points, and that is for theme. And theme, as every year almost, if not every single year, is basically just following the rules. What is the title of this contest? Giant monster battle of 2 main monsters, one that has the capability of producing smaller monsters. It's up to you how you want to present that. And the other, the monster that is of our Cyclops skull. If you break that theme down in the details, you'll see there's 5 basic points right there. The next criteria will be for effort, and that'll be 5 points. How much work, how much time and effort it looks like you put into the artwork. Then the next one will be creativity. How creative your entire idea is. Does it display some sort of lore? Are there things that normally you don't think about when you think about these kind of ideas, stuff like that. Creativity. So that's 5 points. The next one is skill, as I always call it. This year, I'm calling it render skill, because you're basically creating a render of your idea. So for that, it's going to be 5 points as well. So that's going to be skill, how good your skill looks. Do you look like a beginner? Do you look like you know what you're doing? How advanced or not advanced your skill appears to be in that artwork. Next one up, this is a totally new one, is beyond theme. So now you know what the theme is. That's the first criteria. It's the name of the game of this contest. Therefore, beyond theme will be how much more beyond that concept, that idea you go. And you don't have to. That's why these are kind of, they're not bonus points, but it's only worth 2 points. So either you don't really go beyond the theme, but you still score really well on everything else, or you do something that goes a bit beyond it, or you really overwhelm us with just craziness in your artwork, going beyond what we just asked for with the theme. Now, of course, you don't want to overdo it. It doesn't necessarily mean more is better. You mainly want to hit the theme, and then if you got a cherry on top type of idea, you can add it then, but you don't need to add more and more, because it can actually distract from the main theme. Next one up, I'm actually sort of surprised I put this in a separate whole category, as I always just saw it as part of the everything else, the creativity, the skill, but it's going to be monster design. So 5 points for monster design. So we're not looking just at the whole artwork, but each monster's design and conception. Again, everything goes into that too, the creativity and everything, but it's just, I guess, more focus criteria that also applies to the monsters itself rather than the whole presentation of the idea. So a bit more pinpointed focus on the monsters here as well. So again, that's 5 points for monster design. And then finally, stylization, another new criteria this year. For that, 3 points, because art can be tricky to judge. And overall, what you guys may have noticed, all of you that especially have participated in previous years, is that pretty much the more realistic, the better the renders are in quality of color and realism, detail and shading, and all things of that nature, has sort of always pushed those sort of renditions forward, rather than those that are more comic-based or anime-ish or stylized in other particular ways that are still very creative, very unique, but they don't necessarily look realistic. But the skill level in all the other themes or criterias are at the same par. So this year, for you guys that have a really stylistic approach, there are 3 points that you can additionally gain. Now, that doesn't mean that if you do that very realistic style of art, that it is not stylized, because it can still be stylized. So you can kind of imagine where it can be applicable, because you can have two artists that do realism sort of art. For example, this artist, every time they do something, you know it's their art. You know it's their design. Why is it? Because, well, one perspective, we could say that it's their stylization, that type of character that they apply to their artistic style. So that's going to be the stylization pop. 3 points for that. So it's going to be really interesting scoring. And I did this to really break out the ties that tend to occur in most, if not all, of these contests. Next up, the prizes. $150 for total prize to start with. So this is for up to 20 artist participants. If we go over 20, we'll raise that number to 200, and then eventually higher and higher and so on. But the minimum, the top 3 winners will win, is a total among them of 150, and it will always be split up with a bigger bulk for the first place, a gold medalist, then smaller numbers for the second two. So the first place winner will win $100, second place will win $30, and third place will win $20. If we get more people submitting art and this contest gets more traction, then we'll adjust those numbers to follow that kind of percentage, that ratio among the top 3 winners. As far as what to exactly submit one image of your masterpiece and send it directly to my email. One single image. If you got a few that you like, choose your favorite one. Try not to leave it to me to choose which one's the best. try to make that decision. And also, and we've always had this as part of the rules, although I rarely had to resort to looking through these, have WIP images ready. That's work in progress shots. So as you work through your artwork, make sure you take pictures of the progress. Do not submit them unless I ask for them. Those are those ways of dealing with art theft and AI. So remember, every once in a while, take a picture of your artwork as you're working through it. So later, if need be, you can prove that this is indeed your art. Email them to me at artkidawa@gmail.com. I will have that posted on the screen so you can save that email for when you need it. As far as submitting questions, if you have any questions of any sort about the contest, just put them down below in the comments so that other people who may have the same question can see the answers, and I'll get to them as soon as I see them. And that's that. Now, as far as celebrating, personally, I've been wanting to do this a long time because every year there are spectacular pieces, some that get into top 3, some that don't, but I still really love and want to just send out that recognition to those artists and that appreciation. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make a video showcasing my favorite or the top or however you want to put it, but since it's going to be me presenting, it's going to have a certain biasness to it, right? But I'm going to be presenting my favorite pieces of all the submissions that we've ever had. So I'm not going to be showing off all the artwork. You can watch the videos. I always put them in the top comment every year's results, so you can check every year's results and top winners. So, and it's a great way to kind of educate yourself and research in terms of what does well in these contests. Check out the previous year's winners, but that's always there. But what I'm going to be doing is looking through all the artwork submitting and picking out those few from every year that really stood out for me and just showcasing them, because there was some really awesome stuff out there and I really want to make sure a lot of you guys see that. So I think that's going to be fun, and I've been looking forward for a long time to doing that. 10 years I've been waiting to do that. So I will have that made. I'm not sure yet exactly when I'll do that, if maybe this year, November or December, or maybe I'll hold off till next year. But whatever the case, I will be showcasing my favorite creations of yours. Thank you to all of you that participate by watching these contests and supporting the artists, and especially thank you to the artists for having the guts to go out of that comfort zone and create something that will not be viewed publicly, but also judged among others. All the best of luck and skill to you. Oh, and as far as results, usually I get those up like a week or two after all submissions get in. It depends what other judges get involved and stuff like that. Usually that's what prolongs it. But if there's not too much of that going on or everything's on time, then I should have it up within a week and a half, say within 2 weeks. The results should be up, and they will be up in the video where we showcase all the artwork and the scores and recognize everybody for their efforts.